In the complex tapestry of life, the threads of fate and circumstance often lead us to unexpected places and people. It is woven in a cloth of righted fibres and twisted in unfortunate events. When I tied the knot with my husband, Dave, I thought everything would be as perfect as it was supposed to be. I devoted myself to him, my attention and devotion. All the hard work and dedication I poured into our relationship were put to waste when he decided to hand me divorce papers and favoured his mean sister over me. I am Lizzie, and this is the tale of my unfortunate relationship with the man I treated with utmost love and respect, but gave me nothing but mistreatment in return. Our twisted bond started with our fathers, who were best friends and colleagues. And I could honestly say that the story begins with a familiar twist of parental influence. My father, a towering figure in the business world, held close ties with a lifelong friend, sealing a pact that would intertwine our destinies. As it turned out, this pact involved my marriage to his son, Dave. Since we were young, our fathers kept pushing the narrative of us marrying each other. This idea would resurface during family gatherings, travels, and special occasions. I did not pay attention because I knew their desire would outgrow them, and we were still so young back then. Dave's and my history during childhood was unfortunate, and I could genuinely say it was not the warmest. Our childhood days were filled with heated arguments and clashes that painted the picture of two adversaries rather than friends. My parents even poked fun at our dog and cat relationship, teasing us that it would eventually develop into romantic feelings. But it did not turn out the way they wanted it to be. Dave never missed a moment to tell me that he hates me. He always said he would rather end the world than have me as his wife. His mean and rude treatment towards me made me feel that I was not worthy to be loved and treated gently. He was so harsh towards me that he would insult me. It was the worst thing ever. It made me feel insecure and worthless. Yet, amidst the hatred and his lousy treatment towards me, my feelings for him ran deep. I was hopelessly in love with him, despite the affection being unreciprocated. It sounded so desperate, but I wanted to be close to him. But he projected the opposite feelings. Of course, it hurts, but I am used to it. But when we were in high school, my puppy love for him grew, and I became attracted to him. But still, his feelings towards me had not progressed. He hated that our families were connected because he didn't want to be associated with a loser like me. Yes, he would call me names such as lame, loser, boring, and oldie. He kept telling me I was no good to him because we weren't on the same level. "Can you stop staying close to me? You are a loser, and I don't want to be associated with someone like your level," which is insulting. My heart hurts as he says those words right in front of me. "Why are you so mean to me, Dave? I wasn't even bothering you. You can tell me to move away politely. You don't have to insult me like that." He just smirked and rolled his eyes. "But you deserve it, though. Ugly and low girls like you are subject to amusement and insults, and you cannot convince me otherwise." I would keep quiet and never talk back because no matter how many times I would defend myself, he would still justify that he was right, and I don't know why I still love him. As the years advanced, so did our parents' agenda. The marriage plot thickened, even though Dave had held nothing but disdain for me. So, Dave decided to go to college abroad, away from the grasp of his parents' unfair plans. For the entire college years, I haven't seen Dave. I only have news of him having the time of his life in the States. He would go to clubs and parties. Also, he would spend most of his time dating girls. With our time apart, I could also feel that my feelings for him were slowly drifting away. It was not as strong as it used to be. On top of that, I learned how to divert my attention towards other things, especially myself. I finally took the chance to go to the gym, invest in skincare, learn makeup, and spoil myself. In short, I had my glow up. I became even more confident as I developed healthier mental health and self-esteem. I started to love my life even more. With the significant changes in my life, I met several people who tried to court and wanted to date me. But I learned that having myself was enough, so I rejected them. And when I finished college, I started to work at my startup company. I made it from scratch, and I wanted to make it successful, to purchase and build a house I could call my own. And months later, I heard the news. Dave was finally back from college. He graduated with a degree in business, same as me, and he will inherit his father's company years from now. People rejoiced as he graduated with Latin honours and high academic merits. During his victory and Thanksgiving party, we met once again, but this time, no hard feelings nor hatred towards me was seen plastered on his face. It just shows that we genuinely matured over time. Both of us were shy with each other. He reached out his hands for a shake, but I grabbed it, and I instantly felt a spark again, the same feelings that I felt when we were young. "It's been a long time since the last time we met." He flashed a sweet smile at me, which gave me butterflies. "Oh, yes, it is. Nice to meet you again, I guess." I was so shy in my interaction with him, I felt like I was back as a youth. He kept staring at me all night, giving me subtle hints of blushes and flattery. We talked all night about our college experiences. We exchanged stories about our lives as we pursued higher education, and we were seemingly catching up with each other's lives. Our parents saw our interactions, and we did not know their desire to marry us both would resurface. And so, determined to fulfill their plan, they opened the dating and marriage topics and were again laid on the table. The conversation was awkward between me and Dave, but I could see that our feelings for each other had improved. Our parents decided that to strengthen their alliance and the reputation and status of our companies, the two of us should seal the fate of success and fruition for them. Because they believe that our bond as a family would be stronger if we bind it together. I couldn't remember what happened in the next few days and months, but the only clear thing is that they were already planning our wedding. They didn't even ask for our consent, as if it was not essential. But I'm at peace because Dave's hatred towards me has finally vanished. But it is clear that he dislikes me being his wife. The lead up to our wedding wasn't without its heartaches. I witnessed Dave in the company of other girls, each encounter chipping away at my fragile heart. No matter how hard I try to convince myself that we should have a casual relationship, seeing him with other girls still pains me. On top of that, one night, one of my friends went to the club with his friends, and my friend told me that Dave's friends mocked me, and I became the punchline to their cruel jokes. The humiliation was unbearable. A reminder of the unrequited love that fueled my existence. My friend reiterated the statements that they said about me. "You are bound to suffer your wife with that loser. She is such a boring woman. I bet you'll be a lonely boy." "You know what? I envy you for being rich, but I don't want to be like you, marrying that downgrade girl." And Dave even has his fair share of statements. "She's improved now. I guess I can take her as a wife. I'll keep up with that as if I had a choice. I have to please my father. Once I secure the inheritance, I can leave her for good." My heart started to beat so fast. He just agreed to the marriage arrangement because he wanted to please his father, for him to have his inheritance to himself. At some point, I believed he would like me, like I like him. But it was just false hopes. It will never happen, and now I am hurting, and I should have known better. And then, inexplicably, Dave transformed. When we met again, he started treating me better, But I knew this was just a show. He's just pretending to be good to me for his advancement. His icy demeanour soared, and he began treating me with kindness. The stark contrast from the years of indifference and hostility were overwhelming. However, I could not deny that my heart soared as he exhibited care and attention. But I never let my guard down. Fast forward. We finally sealed the vows. We got married. Many people celebrated with us. I didn't know how to describe what I felt then, and I was not happy. I anticipated a life full of pain and heartbreak, and I was forced to be here for my parents' wishes. So, in the early days of our marriage, it seemed as though love was finally blooming between us. We were not sweet to each other. We didn't even share a bed. Every sweet gesture we make is a show for everyone to feast on and eat upon. The first year of our marriage was all about pretending and putting off a presentation to everyone. And of course, arguments were present. One night, Dave came home drunk, and it was his birthday. He refused to celebrate it with me and his family because he wanted to spend time with his friends. Of course, I anticipated it because he kept shoving to my face that I was nothing but a dull woman to be with. "Oh, look who we have here, the resident loser." I was cleaning the living room when I heard him say those words. My grip on the curtain tightened, but I remained silent, determined not to give him the satisfaction of a reaction. "The world's most boring wife, that's you, right?" The mockery in his voice was evident. I clenched my jaw, fighting to maintain my composure. I shifted my gaze, avoiding his piercing eyes. "I often wonder what it would be like if I hadn't been forced into this marriage with you. Probably a lot less dull." My fingers trembled slightly, my heart aching at the cruel words that spilled from his lips. I took a steadying breath, still refusing to let his verbal assault break my silence. "Worthless, that's what you are. You can't even hold a decent conversation, can you?" His drunk days and words have genuinely pierced my heart in pain. My chest tightens, but I maintain my silence. My silence becomes a weapon, a defiance that counters his venomous words. "I bet you're used to this by now, aren't you? Being invisible, being insignificant. It's what you're good at." He never shuts up. He just kept throwing insults at me. My eyes shimmered with unshed tears, but I blinked them away, determined to remain strong. "Well, don't worry, sweetheart. I will find someone who's anything but boring. Someone who makes my life interesting." I was so shocked by what he just said. My hands curled into fists, my nails digging into my palms. I fought back tears. The weight of his words was gnawing at me. He just laughed at me. "Pathetic. I'm just being honest, and it is something you're incapable of." I took a deep breath, steadying myself. I wiped away a tear that had escaped, refusing to let his cruelty define my worth. I stood tall, a silent symbol of resilience in adversity. But then, one day, an uninvited entry happened. It was Kira, his half-sister. I never knew that he had a younger sister. We have known each other since we were young. So he told me that it was from his mother's side. His parents were divorced when he was 5 years old, and he said to me that Kira will be living with us from now on. My husband's transformation was fleeting, fading into the shadows as Kira stepped into the spotlight. With her arrival, Dave's chilling indifference became prominent. I stood by, a spectator to his newfound attachment to Kira. Their bond grew, and my heart ached with jealousy. I often saw them talking to each other, laughing, and even staying up late. And my suspicions rose, so I couldn't believe they were siblings. Kira's facade, however, was just that, a deceptive mask that concealed her true intentions. Her mean-spiritedness and bullying were a testament to the malicious nature she harboured. The hatred radiating from her was inexplicable, but I understood all too well that she and Dave had allied against me. She kept insulting and being mean to me whenever Dave was not around. She would treat me harshly and sometimes as a servant. "My brother told me that you are up to no good, so do yourself some favour and do my laundry. At least you'll be doing something good." She was so mean, and Dave would always spoil her. He would treat her nicely compared to me. I tried my best to live with it, and I just focused on my work and finishing our dream house's construction. I could also say that I contributed the most to our house. I would say 80%. And then, the climax of our story began when Dave declared his intention to give Kira the house I had built, a testament to 5 years of relentless dedication. "I don't care if you say you paid for almost everything. I'm your husband, and you will follow everything I'll say. I don't care about your feelings. My sister deserves this home. Obey me, or I will divorce you. And you know what will happen if I do that. Your father will hate and disown you." But his threats of divorce, a last-ditch effort to bend me to his will, didn't shake my resolve. I held a secret that would shift the balance of power once and for all. Beneath Kira's cunning exterior lay a shocking revelation. Through investigating her background, I unveiled the truth. She was no half-sister, but rather Dave's mistress. When she entered our life, I spent every penny I had to run a background check on her. Their affair was an open secret, conducted under my unsuspecting nose inside the home I had constructed with sweat and tears. Armed with evidence, I sought out Dave's father, exposing the truth of his son's betrayal. Fury blazed in his eyes as the realization dawned, and he promptly disowned Dave. The house, once my pride and joy, became his father's purchase, and I received compensation for my efforts. He insisted on giving me twice its value so that I could have money of my own. Dave's father cast them out of my house, including the mistress. He disowned Dave right in front of us. I saw how fear flashed before Dave's eyes. His father tore up the letter stating Dave as the heir of his company. As he tore the paper, so did Dave's inheritance and wealth. And because he is now poor, his mistress fled, and I initiated a divorce, severing the last ties that bound us. Dave's world crumbled, the consequences of his actions haunting him relentlessly. The revenge was not just satisfying, it was a poetic triumph over the forces seeking to break me. Through it all, I emerged stronger, empowered by the knowledge that my resilience and cunning had turned the tables on those who had underestimated me. The aftermath of the storm was a mixed bag of emotions. A sense of liberation washed over me as the shackles of a loveless marriage were finally broken. The weight of betrayal, humiliation, and years of emotional turmoil began to lift. With the divorce finalized, I found solace in knowing that my strength had prevailed, that I had navigated the treacherous waters of deceit and emerged victorious. The days that followed were not without their challenges. The whispers of society painted a different story, one that painted me as the villainess who had torn apart a seemingly happy family. But behind closed doors, people were slowly piecing together the puzzle, uncovering the truth hidden beneath layers of deception. The aftermath had its bittersweet moments as well. I found support in unexpected places, from friends who had always stood by me and those who had witnessed the transformation of my marriage. As they say, the truth has a way of revealing itself, and with it came a newfound respect for my resilience. Kira's exit from our lives was a significant turning point. The revelation of her true identity and intentions spread like wildfire, exposing her as the manipulative intruder she had been. The humiliation she faced was a poetic justice that mirrored the hurt she inflicted upon me. Her departure brought a sense of closure, a chapter ending in the grand story of my life. Dave's punishment was harsh, befitting the depths of his betrayal. The loss of his inheritance, the revelation of his true parentage, and the disownment by his father left him isolated and alone. The same arrogance and rudeness that had defined him returned to haunt him, isolating him from the world he once knew. The revenge was not only satisfying, but it also marked a transformation within me. The experience sharpened my senses, making me more discerning about people's intentions. It reinforced my resilience, reminding me of my strength to weather life's storms. In the end, my story became one of empowerment and redemption. It was a testament to the power of knowledge, of unearthing the truth that lay beneath the surface. My journey from unrequited love to humiliation to revenge might have been unconventional, but it was mine. Standing amidst the ruins of a broken marriage, I knew that the phoenix that had risen from the ashes was more muscular